Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Scrappy has responded for the first time to the major beef with Drazah just the other day, admitting that he probably definitely did go too far on this one, but also saying that he is absolutely ready for the major rivalries that will come with Drazah over the coming months and possibly years at this point. Very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Another quality clip here to start out. There's also this from Kremp, of course. We saw that Kremp went back to Mac just the other day. I thought it was funny during the weekend as well how locked in he was. Like, it's the classic winning mentality thing. He was P1 in the practice sessions, that's position 1, right, first place. He was, stuck out on pole in qualifying, but even after the qualifying, even after the race, he was like, look, we've still got a job to do here, we've still got another race to win, and now he's won both races. He can say, look, actually, yeah, now it's sunk in. It's pretty damn crazy what Kremp has achieved so far in this. He also talked to Jake Lucky. I thought this is kind of a wild story. You guys know that Kremp firstly did the sim racing thing after he retired from competitive cards, and he went to, it was Ren Sports, the game that they were playing against, the top sim racers in the world. Serious guys. And he was telling a funny story here that when he went to, this event, they were racing at Hockenheim, which was, one of the tracks that obviously is in the game. And Kremp was actually okay at this track. But he looked up on his phone, to watch a fast lap, just to see how it was done, what lines are taken into the corners, what gears they use, all these other things. And Kremp looked up the laps on his phone on YouTube, and all of the top lap times were from the guy sitting next to him. He was he didn't want to watch their laps in front of them, just kind of to show that he was a noob. So he went to the bathroom and pretended that he'd had a hard time in the bathroom, shall we say, while he just sat there watching the laps on his phone. But there's also been some drama on the challenger side, as there always is. Just again, the running of the challenger scene this year has not been spectacular by any means. It doesn't seem like the FaZe team really has people that understand COD, or at least understand what they previously did. We saw the other day that there were map sets revealed with Karachi Hardpoint, both map 1 and map 4, which is never been a thing that we do, and for very good reason. So basically, the elite teams, because the cups and the elites, they clash, they can get compensated pro points. But it seemed like they'd already made changes for this to be the case. So effectively, the teams that weren't the elite teams were getting so many points. So, for example, teams that finished 9th or 12th in the elite stages now, so they might qualify for the elite, but not do very well, they still get so many pro points for getting to this point. So I don't really know why they came up with this idea. They then decided, all right, actually, no, we're going to not do that anymore, and we're going to remove those 2k extra points to the elite players. So it's just, it's kind of frustrating, right? It doesn't seem like the team at FaZe really has a good grasp on what makes this work, as Game Battles did, but of course Game Battles is dead, rest in peace, so we had to move to FaZe. And it doesn't really seem like the guys that are calling the shots on the COD side have a great feeling as to what happened behind the scenes in COD over the last few years. So hopefully that's going to change. But I also will mention this. There's an update coming today, and the update is scheduled 1 hour before the Elite playoffs start in Europe. So I guess we'll see, but, we know how these updates usually go. Something happens, and the game is unplayable, and the challengers suffer for it. Speaking of challengers, though, one team that may look to make roster changes in the near future and may need some challengers players is the Los Angeles Guerrillas. This I thought was a wild stat, though, from FaZe COD News. There's not many stats that teams at the bottom of the standings over the last several years actually occupy, but they have this one. So this is control reverse sweeps. So within a control map, to go down 2-0 in the control, come back to win it in a round 5 within the control. These are the numbers that's been achieved by. Now, one team, as in London or Ravens, they have 0 control reverse sweeps ever. If that team has gone down 2-0 in a control, they have lost it 100% of the time. Every single control they've played since Cold War. Not even to get 1 is pretty bad, because even Paris and Vegas, they have 1. They've done that 1 time. Boston only have 2. Florida only have 2. Even Thieves only have 2 as well. But, I guess good teams, sometimes they don't go down 2-0. But the best team, apart from Gorillas, is FaZe. They've done 7 of those. OpTic have only done 3, for example. I guess, actually, OpTic, Chicago, Texas, Dallas, Texas, kind of the same thing now, so fair enough. But the record holder is actually Los Angeles Guerrillas. Can you believe it? They've gone on to win a control from down 2-0 on 8 occasions. So, pretty crazy record that they have, actually. And we'll see if FaZe can take that from them at some points, because I don't imagine this Gorillas team is going to be too capable of that. But we've got to talk about the drama. So it all began with this tweet the other day. Of course, we talked about the tweet in depth a few days ago, but I think Scrappy realised, okay, he has to say something. You can't just turn on the stream and pretend that this never happened. And of course, at the time, Scrappy regretted what he says. you know, he tried to talk to people so this wouldn't get out there, but, you know, I know that Scrappy knows that this is the internet. Once things are said, they're said, and it is what it is. So this is kind of where it began with the whole geek stuff, who of course is Drazah's girlfriend. But we have to also talk about this as well briefly, because this is just another element and layer to the drama that, okay, there was the whole girlfriend beef thing that we talked about, but this was like another element that we didn't really discuss at depth at the time, because I wasn't really sure what Scrappy meant, but it does seem like, you know, people know what Scrappy meant by this. We talked about it on the Dope Tree episode the other day as well, and Zero certainly gave his thoughts. So the interesting thing about this is that these were the tweets initially, Drazah, Scrap going back and forth. Now this tweet from Scrap still exists. This one at the bottom here though doesn't. And the thing that confused me at the time was the whole orange juice thing in the tweet itself. Now this tweet has since been deleted. Now many of you guys will know what this means. If you aren't aware, the feeling is that when a player has taken a certain performance enhancing potentially pill to play Call of Duty, which is quite commonly taken in esports in general, you guys know what I'm talking about, orange juice may or may not help with a come down. I don't know on the validity of this claim. I've never taken this, you know, potential pill in question, but you guys know what I'm getting at here. So, yeah, I think that's what Scrappy is trying to imply. I don't know for sure, but that appears to be the implication that Scrappy was effectively saying it to Drazah exactly what Slasher said to Drazah when they had a beef back in early 2023. If you guys remember at the time, Slasher was on FaZe, Drazah was on Thieves, and there was a big bit of beef at the time over this whole stare glitch thing with Cellium and all this stuff. And even Cellium himself tweeted out, "Don't do drugs, kids," didn't he, with a picture of the pill, and that's what Slasher does as well at the time. So that is the further implication here, but I think it's funny, right, because Scrap doesn't even think that that's too far at all, and it probably isn't, right? This is just standard procedure. It's kind of like when he brought in the girlfriend, the kid, whatever, into the discussion, that's when maybe it went a little bit too far, and Scrappy certainly agrees with that assessment. So these were some of the tweets the other day, and obviously all since deleted, but Drazah after the fact was like, okay, can't wait for the rest of the season, I'm coming different from now on. I think the interesting thing about this is what Scrappy, I'll obviously share the clips here in a second, says about the relationship that Drazah and Scrappy had, saying that if this was against another player that he wasn't particularly close with, he wouldn't care, you know, leave it out there. But apparently Drazah and Scrap, like, they've got on pretty well. They've been reasonably good friends behind the scenes for some time, and therefore Scrap feels especially bad, really, that he's, you know, taken it to this extreme. But of course, he had to say something, and I think what Scrap says is pretty reasonable, to be fair. Obviously, people were calling him soft and everything for deleting everything after the fact, but I think it's understandable that Scrappy regrets what he said, and to be fair, he basically said that he's apologized to Drazah behind the scenes, or said, like, you know, I'm sorry for this, I went too far, but also accepting that that's not going to change the reality of this situation, right? The drama will continue.
Anything added, so at a game, right? The whole thing with me and Draz. What sucks about all this is that I was actually like, I fucked up. The reason I'll explain why I delete all the tweets and stuff like that. I was good friends with Draz. All right, right now, I understand. I've already DM'd him this. He's not going to come out or say anything, but like, I'll tell you. I DM'd him. I said, bro, I completely understand. I fucked up. You know, I took it too far. You know, if the line was like the 50-yard line, I probably hit about like the opposite 30. You know what I mean? So like, it was a bit too far. Okay? Not a bit. It was far. It was too far. You know what I mean? And the reason is, bro, if this was just some random person that like I wasn't close with or anything, I would have just fucking like, who gives a fuck? I barely even know the guy. You know what I mean? So like, this is different because me and Draz, I've known this kid for years. We play together. We're fucking cool as fuck. Or like we were cool as fuck for like fucking almost 3 years. And you know, it sucks in that part. I would never have her tweet about someone else or tweet other people. Okay? She's not playing. Me and Draz are playing. She's not playing. Right? My girlfriend will never tweet anything unless provoked. There is no reason that anything, you know, with like girlfriends should be anything about other pros. Because the thing is, yeah, you guys are all fans. Like, I respect that. Like, you're a fan. You guys can talk all the shit you want. Like, we don't know each other on a personal level, but I know some of these people on a personal level. Like, you know what I mean? I've known like I've talked to these people. Like, so don't like start talking shit online. Like, you know what I mean? And then just be like, you know what I mean? In person, think we're gonna be cool. Like, bro, what? Like, this is different type of like, I'm supposed to be like good friends with you out of the game, in game. You know what I mean? If we talk shit in game, you know what I mean? Between me and Draz, that's like. That's fine, you know what I mean? Like, I respect that. Like, and this is what I'm saying. If we want to have a rivalry, I'm fucking down, bro. Like, you know what it is? We need some fucking rivalries. This shit's boring as fuck sometimes playing each other. You know what I mean? Like, so this is just like, I get on like every day. Like, it's fun, bro. Like, I'm down to have the rivalry, but, you know, I'll be honest. What I said is way out of pocket. So, it's my bad to Draz. I don't expect him to be cool with me anymore. What I said it's kind of hard for someone to just be like, oh, nah, you're chilling, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's all I had to say. Fucking, we lock in, we play ranked. Yeah, all you guys can hold my whole fucking dick. So, let's go. Shotzzy, appreciate the...
So I wonder if Toronto got involved in this at all, just because Scrappy did those tweets after the fact to say, oh, like, you know, basically, don't disregard what I said previously. Let's just go back to normal. People can do what they want behind closed doors, whatever, right? Which, you know, absolutely fair enough. But people thought, well, did Toronto tell Scrap, like, hey, maybe we better delete these tweets and move on for this whole saga? Scrappy said at the time, no. He replied to someone and said, no, this is all of my own accord. Toronto didn't tell me anything. You know, the whole sensitivity training thing that we talked about doesn't seem to have come true. But Scrappy admits that, you know, he made a mistake, went too far on this one. And I think that's probably the correct assessment. But does it change the circumstances behind the scenes with Drazah? No. And obviously, Drazah isn't going to be happy about this, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Scrappy admits, of course, I'm down to have a rivalry. These guys, we expected a bit of back and forth between these guys. Drazah, in a way, started it, right? Because he did come out of their post-game interview and say that Toronto are terrible. Then Keeks obviously jumped in as well. And then it was Scrappy's girlfriend that responded. And then Scrappy got involved and went on a rampage for about half an hour. So, you know, it kind of started with Drazah in some respect. And to be fair to Drazah, like when he gets involved in beef and situations like this, he tends to keep it on the game, you know, like he'll trash talk players, he'll criticize players, he'll insult players, obviously, which is, you know, a good disrespectful thing to do. But maybe he's never necessarily taken it too far, maybe Drazah, and he's definitely stood on business as far as this one goes. And he even goes on to follow up with this rent-free, right? So Scrappy responds to it, and Drazah saying, yeah, like I'm in this guy's head type thing. So the rivalry between these two is going to be epic. It's funny in a way, right, that Drazah and aBeZy, like let's not forget, when Drazah won the World Championship, and wasn't it aBeZy tweeted out, or aBeZy liked a tweet that said, oh, well, Drazah's going home with Keeks, or something like that anyway. And then it turns out, given a couple of years, they're teaming together, right? So would you absolutely be mind blown if Drazah and Scrappy turn up on the same team in a couple of years? I just don't, from a role perspective, I don't really see how that makes sense. But I don't know, people have been joking, right, that after all this drama, like Drazah and Scrap are going to end up teaming in a couple of years. They're going to move past all this stuff. But for the near term, it's definitely going to be a big talking point. So the great thing about this rivalry is that these are the two best teams in the game. Toronto actually have a lot to prove as well, because the next time they play FaZe, they'll have to prove that this whole thing that they did by effectively giving FaZe the win by playing the maps that FaZe wanted to play. And let's be honest, maps that they're probably going to veto against FaZe when they play them next time. Maybe the strategy from Toronto here was, we're not going to play them on any maps we want to play on, so when we play at the major, they have no idea what we're going to bring to the party on these maps. So we'll see, but these are two teams that will match up many a time, because they're the best teams. They're going to match up in winners round 2, winners finals, losers finals, grand finals, whatever. That is surely going to be the case for the rest of the season, and they play online as well between now and the World Championship. So I think that's mainly why this whole thing is just so engaging, but very much into your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Wanted to share this, by the way, from Hixie as well. Have you ever seen a kill quite like this here with the Renetti? This poor guy gets absolutely torched here. That's actually King of Body of the Falcons, by the way, like the Saudi Arabian team. So guess what happens, right? You pop the dead silent, and for some reason it just tightens up your hip fire so much. King of Body must have been mind blown at that. And even Hixie's face, he's like, did you guys see that? Like, are we serious right now? So very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.